pull my crossface arm out, I slide it along my body, so I'm still controlling his elbow. I pin down, and I rip in with the leg. Okay, once I do that, I'm still holding the far arm with the same grip, tight grip, so it doesn't go anywhere. Try to move around. It's really hard. It's pinned on both sides. Now what I want to do is, I want to windshield wipe my legs. I want to switch control from my left leg with my right leg. Here. Okay. Try not to finish it here with my head over his elbow. I'm going to bring my head past and over and past his wrist. Right here. This is where all my weight is now, on the wrist. Now I'm pinning the wrist down. There's no chance for him to straighten it out, and I can just finish. Hello everyone, we're back here at Uprise MMA with Brian. We're going to do a Kimura trap from side control, ending with Kimura submission. Let's give it a try. Let's go head facing the camera this time. So we're in this position where he has his frames on me. He's got inside positioning here and inside positioning here. However, I do have inside positioning on his elbow. Okay. So the first thing he should do in this instance is try to put his knee onto my hip. That does two things. First of all, it delays or prevents me a little bit from getting into the mount. It's not enough space here. And secondly, it is the start of a knee and elbow escape. Okay, so he's going to connect and then go ahead and escape. Now, when he does that, my whole side control is almost gone. Okay, so from here, as soon as I feel that knee coming to my hip, back to my hip, I know that it's time to react and point his knees away from me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start walking towards his hip while I'm on the knees, and push his hips point away from me. Okay. From here, usually this arm is going to be tight, but it is quite easy to scrape my near leg up and isolate the arm, open the elbow. Okay. So as I'm here, I'm going to scrape my near leg up, and you can see that now my knee is wedged underneath his armpit, and that elbow is now isolated and away from his body. Okay. Now here I have a tight connection, so if he tries to pull that elbow back, it should be pretty hard. Now, even though he has his leg up again, there's no knee and elbow connection possible, so he's not going to escape. I know that. He is still doing that to delay me from getting into the mount or improving my position. My next concern here is to trap the forearm. As you can see, he's got a inside positioning on my neck, which gives him the ability to frame and push away and harass my neck and try to recover the other arm. I do have inside positioning on the elbow though. That's kind of a standard position in this case. So what I'm going to do now is I need to get to this point where I have isolated and trapped this arm as well. Then I'm going to have both arms trapped. How do we do that? First of all, I'm going to pull my elbow down towards its hip in order for my hand to be able to slide in here, come out, okay, through the hole. Once it does that, I connect with a 10-finger grip. I pin his shoulder down, and my elbow gets to the floor. Now, I'm going to open the elbow slightly. I'm going to start pummeling my head in. As soon as I do that, you can see that his forearm is holding up on my head and getting to the other side of it. Now, I'm going to trap here, try to get the hand back in. It's near impossible. Now I get my underhook, I pull, and I trap this arm. Now when you try to swivel that back in, it's very hard. Okay, I need to keep a tight connection here. Next, what I want to do is I want to isolate and attack this arm. Okay, this arm is isolated. I want to attack this one. This is for control. Okay, so we're going to attack the Kimura trap on the arm. From here, what I do is I cup on this tricep, and I pull my own elbow towards my sternum as tight as possible. Okay, so I go here and here. Now you can see that my elbow is almost, if not perpendicular to his body. Okay, I don't want to be here because it's just going to swivel his elbow back in, maybe even start escaping. Okay, so I want to be here tight. Now when he tries to pull this elbow in, it's very hard. Okay, I don't want to be holding like this because I don't have a good grip. It's just going to pull out. I want to be holding like a meat hook with a C grip here and pulling. My elbow is as tight as possible to my body. From here, what I do is I'm going to open my cross-face arm, slide my elbow alongside my body so I don't release this arm and let it go. And then I make V grip onto his bicep. I pin it down to the floor, and I trap with my leg. Okay. So I pull my arm as I'm trapping here. Pull my cross-face arm out. I slide it along my body, so I'm still controlling his elbow. I pin down, and I rip in with the leg. Okay. Once I do that, I'm still holding the far arm with the same grip, tight grip, so it doesn't go anywhere. Try to move around. It's really hard. It's pinned on both sides. Now what I want to do is, I want to windshield wipe my legs. I want to switch control from my left leg with my right leg. Here. Okay. What that does is, it allows me to lift him up, bring that leg over, and pin him this way. I want him bladed now. Okay. From here, what we're going to do is, let's turn. From here, I keep his hand up as high as possible. If I'm here relaxed, he brings his hands, he ties them together. Now I have to deal with this, okay? So I try and keep his arm trapped up here. Try to bring it around. Now I'm holding closer to the elbow. Before I was here, now I'm a little bit closer to the elbow. That keeps his arm a little straighter, okay? Now, what I want to do is bring this arm elbow deep around his armpit. And I'm going to push his arm away from his body and from his other hand, and I'm going to let it fall. Okay. Now I'm in this position. I connect my Kimura trap, and now again, make sure you don't give him anything to grip on. He's allowed to grip his own pants even. Or his leg. We don't want to deal with that. We want to keep this away. Now, most of the time, what you'll see is people finish it here, and you can do that definitely, especially if you're pinning him well and all that. But I don't want to rely on that because maybe he's bigger, maybe he's strong, maybe he's desperate, obviously, in this case. So he's going to jump around and not, there's going to be way too much disconnect. So risk of losing the position. What I will do instead is I'm going to bring his hand here and then bring his hand towards the floor. I'm going to pin it on the floor right here. And I'm going to bring my elbow to the floor between us. Okay, between his arm and his body, right next to his ribs. Now, I'm going to switch hips, and I'm going to land my right hip onto his shoulder, onto his right shoulder. Okay? My other leg is on top above his head, so that if he starts coming up with the Kimura now, it's going to be impossible. If I leave here and I start finishing, he just comes up with me. Go ahead. Even if I'm pinning the other shoulder, you can still make it. So instead, I'm right here. Now, the finish here is going to be pinning the wrist to the floor by putting my whole weight this way, okay, towards his hip. Try to move your wrist around. It's very thin. Now I'm going to lift my elbow. My elbow is not here. It's close to his elbow. That's the end of the lever. I'm lifting up while pinning the wrist down. I'm going extremely slowly tap right there. Okay? So I'm pinning this wrist and I go up. There's the tap. Okay? Look at the range of motion. You can break this arm 3 times. The idea here is to keep it pinned while lifting. Okay? That puts pressure more on the elbow than the shoulder. They're probably gonna both dissipate. Now, the reason we want to have the wrist pinned to the floor is if I try to do it here, I'm probably still gonna finish it. But if it's someone big and strong, he starts stretching his arm. Now I have straight arm bar and stuff, but do I really want to deal with that when I had it already secured? Okay, so just try not to finish it here with my head over his elbow. I'm gonna bring my head past and over and past his wrist, right here. This is where all my weight is now, on the wrist. Now I'm pinning the wrist down. There's no chance for him to straighten it out, and I can just finish. Okay, one more time without commentary. Bring the leg to the hip. That's it. All right, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe.